Yeshiva World!
Okay, we're here with Assemblyman Eichenstein.
So first of all, welcome to our offices over here, and Be'ezus Hashem, we will be serving lots of people. We've already served many people in this office the last week or so. With people, constituents that have concerns, call the office, come up to the office.
So the first question I would love to know, did you get to choose what committees you want to, or did they just assign you to as a new member?
The Speaker's office, they certainly take into account your request, and I'm thankful to Speaker Hasty, and I want to thank him for giving me this opportunity and trusting me with quite frankly, very, very important committees. And
what are the most important committees that you were appointed
so
to?
I was appointed to 5 committees. I believe almost all members serve on 5 committees. Aging, cities, housing, real property taxation, and social services. And these are committees that are again, as I said, very, very relevant and to my district. As it relates to aging, it's we're a growing community. Are all 64-year-olds, 65-year-olds in Borough Park and Midwood ready for retirement? How are they going to pay their bills afterwards? We live in an era where people live longer lives, and there's a light. I think for the most part in our community, someone at the age of 65 has married off all their kids, and at this point, the children are now. You want to, for those that continue sitting and learning, you want to be helpful to them. You want to be supportive, and the rents are the same. The reality is, you cannot buy a one-family home in this community anymore.
But then they have to pay
if you're lucky.
taxes.
So, all right. So let's slow. So if you are lucky enough, you could afford, with your lifetime savings, for hard-earned savings, you could afford a condo. Now, when you buy a condo, the taxes are through the roof. The way the condo rate is assessed and set, by the way, these are 2 separate issues. There's the assessment, there's first the categories that are set in Albany, and then the assessment, which is done by the city. And you could have a condo living in Borough Park or Midwood paying $12,000 a year in taxes, yet your next door one-family home is only paying $5,000 a year in property taxes. The condo in 2018 is the one-family home of 30 years ago. I don't know that there's a separate category within the tax code based on age, and I don't think that's something that can actually be done, but there are other services that can be provided that are specifically geared towards seniors. So, and actually that perfect segue from aging committee into social services. That's another area where there's the senior population, but there's also the younger people, and in this district we're a community of great needs, and we're beneficiaries from social services. So that's another area where, and I think we're aligned with the conference, and a lot of these are progressive initiatives, and we should work on this. We should expand them.
Good. And besides the issues of education, I'm sure, which will occupy your mind, will be a tremendous
absolutely
involved. Do you believe that, and will you join the progressive forces in Albany that are now calling for a single-payer system? Will that relieve a lot of pressure on many families who are underinsured or uninsured in the district?
Well, I think there's about single payer specifically. A lot has been, I know this bill pretty well. It's been around for the last couple of years. It passed the assembly. Thousands of people in my district could benefit from a single payer bill. That's not questionable. That's undebatable. Thousands of people could benefit. The question is now, single payer comes with a huge cost at $200 billion. The question is, how are you paying for it? So there's an enormous amount of revenue that needs to be raised right now in order to pay for this, if we're going to do it. So there's a question as to, it's not about single payer to me, it's about what comes with single payer. Now, are we talking about a tax that has to raise $100 billion in revenue? It's not about the concept of whether single payer can benefit people. Of course it can benefit people. A lot of people are going to benefit from single payer. It comes down to the nuts and bolts. How are you implementing this? How are you paying for this? And can you take the existing dollars that exist, federal dollars that exist, and shift it towards single payer? So it's a conversation worth having, but to sit here and tell you I'm a yes or a no before I know
See the numbers.
how we're paying for it, where's the revenue coming from, it's not something that I can.
It deserves a long question, but in general, I'd like to get a general sense of your views on the issue as end-of-life issues. And,
Yes.
and I know there is a big push in Albany on that score. Where do you come down on this? That will put a lot of pressure on a lot of families to disconnect the plug of their elderly. I'm familiar in my family, you probably heard this from other people, that there is a sense, a new modern sense of the medical establishment, that there is such a thing as it's time to go, to give up.
So, very important question, and people are focused about a lot of other issues that are up for the legislature this year. This is certainly one that is not getting a lot of attention, but deserves the attention. Without diving too deep into the actual bill, there are federal laws that are on the books that protect the choice, that the choice lies with the family. So there are real protections, but that does not, I'm not here to downplay the concern with the federal, with the proposed state legislation. But there are federal laws that indisputably give the choice to the family. So hopefully that is some comfort.
But it's
for
also
some
an
people.
insurance question. When the insurance company pulls the plug on the funding,
Yes. Well,
isn't that a state issue?
they, given the federal laws, it's not so simple that they can actually do that, despite what may happen at the state level. So the choice is definitely with the family. So it's a complex. It's a very, very complex issue, which will be up in front of the legislature this year.
So you will be
But-
representing the values of your community when you deal
Absolutely,
with these issues.
that's been instilled in me from day one. So there's no moving on any of that. No
So-
compromising, I should say, on any of that.
Okay. One of the priorities of especially the newly elected ones, freshmen, assemblymen and senators, is from the progressive side, is to totally revamp and change election law
Yep.
and voter registration, the timing, fully liberalize it and make it the most liberal instead of being the most restrictive.
So there's no doubt that this is a conference priority in the Assembly, and obviously the newly elected Senate as well. There are lots of different proposals on election reform, campaign finance. There's early voting. There's eliminating the LLC loophole. There's registration, same day registration. There's a lot of combining the date, the federal primary date, with the state primary date, which we now have two separate election dates. There's a lot of different proposals on this subject. There's a lot of it that I support. Anything that makes it easier for people to come out and vote, that's something that we should encourage.
Okay, so it was a real pleasure to hear you, and we hope to hear
Yosef,
a lot
thank
from
you. You're always welcome to come up here, and we should do this more often. We should always check in.